Hey Twitter, it's me, Jax. You guys sent me a bunch of questions, super fun ones for my AMA, and I'm here to answer them as promised. So, I put out a tweet asking for questions to celebrate my 1,000 followers. Hey, all my new followers, thank you for following me. I hope you stick around. I've got them pulled up here. I'm just going to go through them, and I'm going to answer them one by one. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and it should be a lot of fun. These questions are super fun. Some are really great, and I'm going to have to really think about them, but I'm going to try. Here we go. First question comes from Barry S. Brunswick. He wants to know, what is the biggest animal you could beat in a fight? Now, is this with or without my battle moose? Because with my battle moose, I could fight some pretty big animals. But without, I am a tiny raptor, so maybe a lion, maybe? Yeah, I think I could take a lion. If not, I could give it some catnip, maybe pet it under the chin. Here, kitty, kitty. I think I could handle it. Okay. The next one comes from Cold Spot Paranormal Research. They want to know, do you believe in ghosts and or aliens? I do believe in ghosts. I've had some experiences. I used to live in this super creepy house, and the radio would change stations on us all by itself. We'd be listening to a rock station, and it would change over to this really old country station that wasn't even programmed into our stereo. And we'd see shadows and stuff go by the door out of the corner of our eye. It was creepy, but not really dangerous. Aliens, I'm a little on the fence about. I'm not sure. I believe in the possibility, we'll say. Okay, the John West wants to know, you have a week to make a road trip. Where are you headed, and what must-see or must-eat places are you stopping at on the way? Okay, so the top of my bucket list of places to visit is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So that's where I'm going. What must-see or must-eat places are you stopping at on the way? Well, I guess it's probably out of the way, but I'd like to stop in Louisiana and see New Orleans. I don't know if I have time to do it all in a week, because I'm going to spend as much time as possible in Universal Studios. But yeah, I'd want to stop in New Orleans. And since Motel 6 was nice enough to follow us both because of that question, I'm going to stay there all the way down there. Thanks, Motel 6. Okay, Adeline, parentheses, Addie wants to know, how do you define success as a writer? When do you know you have made it? And also, what is the end goal for you? Fame, money, making a difference, etc. So, I define success as a writer. I think that it's different for every writer. So, you have to define success by your own personal goals. If your personal goals are fame and money, then that's how you know that you're successful. Once you get to your own personal goals. My personal goals is to reach people through my words. Whether it's one person or 10,000 people or 1,000,000 people, I just want somebody to read my words, enter the worlds that I've created, and find something there that they love. And I feel like I have done that, at least with one or two people. I don't want to act like I'm some big famous writer. I'm not that special or important. But I do have some consistent readers, and I've had some people give me good feedback. So as far as my very small time goals go, I've succeeded there. And my very first goal as a writer was to give my mom a signed copy of one of my books, and I did that as well. So that was also a success. Antoine has issues. Shout out to Antoine, co-host of the We Have Issues podcast. Wants to know, How many times have you seen Turbo Kid? Um, I don't know. If I counted, I'd be embarrassed to say, but a lot. It's my favorite movie, and I watch it all the time. All the time. He asks, should they make a sequel called Turbo Man? Yes. 100% yes. Yes, yes. There should be a sequel. I'm not sure about Turbo Man being the title, but yes, I want more 80s nostalgia, more Mad Max on BMX, and more ridiculous bloody gore. Yes, please. Okay. Number 3. What song inspires you the most? That changes a lot. Right now, one of my pump me up songs is Shatter Me from Lindsey Sterling. It's a great song, really powerful. I really love that song. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't heard it before. What is your favorite sick day movie? Turbo Kid, of course. Duh. But I also like to watch Practical Magic when I'm not feeling good or I'm feeling down. It's a good one too. 5. If you could drop any horror movie villain into any sitcom, what would you choose? I would choose Sam from Trick or Treat because he's adorable and he's my favorite and I love him. And I would drop him into Raising Hope, because that's all about kids and Sam is a little kid and I think he deserves some wacky, ridiculous parents. Somebody needs to raise Sam. And he wants to know, do you know I love you? I do, and I love you too, Anthony. You're awesome. You're such a good friend. Okay, Addie again wants to know, when you read or watch movies / television, do you primarily stick to your own genre? If not, what else do you like? Well, I mostly like horror and fantasy. Those are my genres. I write them too, and that's mostly what I watch. But sometimes I like comedy as well, so most of my sitcoms are comedy if I'm not watching horror movies or fantasy movies, but generally I'm watching horror movies. I also like crime shows, but it's just Criminal Minds. That's it. Aaron Quill Author wants to know, if you had to be something besides a raptor, tiny or not, what would it be and why? I would be a vampire, for sure. I love vampires. I love their lore. I love the romanticism of vampires. I love that they stay out all night and sleep during the day because I hate how bright the sun is and I hate that people are out all day long. So, yeah, I would definitely be a vampire. Everything about them is appealing. Addie asks, what song or song speaks to you or tells your story? I like a lot of Scandinavian music. My favorite band is called Shireen. They're a witch pop band from Scandinavia, and one of my favorite songs is called So Human of You, and it speaks about a broken relationship and how the main person in the song's not going to let it break him down, and for some reason that really speaks to me. Not necessarily on the relationship level, but on the human level of fighting diversity and fighting against the odds and just not letting things break you. And I really relate to that, and that song personally speaks to me, and I feel like it tells my story. If you haven't checked out my latest newsletter, there's a lot of stuff about my personal life in there that will make this make more sense. But yeah, that song. Vampires Are Only Human asks, what has been the most surprising piece of work you've written? Honestly, any of my poetry, because I don't consider myself a poet, or I didn't. I do now, because I have a poetry book out now, and I've got several poems published, but before I started Twitter, I didn't write poetry, not for a long time, so it's kind of surprising that I took to that so well, and now I've been known for it a little bit lately. They want to know, is there a genre you don't feel you could write? I will not and could not write romance. Not that there's anything wrong with romance. It's a very valid genre, and I think it's great. I don't personally read it. I don't get into it. Not for any particular reason. It's just not my thing, and that's fine. But I don't think I could write it either. It's just not my thing. Okay, and they want to know, which other author do you wish to collaborate on a novel with? I really don't know. I think that collaborating takes a lot of being really similar in your styles and really being able to mesh your work and being really cohesive. And I think that takes a lot of years of building trust and building brainstorming sessions, and I don't have anybody that I've spent that much time with that I can think of, or that I feel like I can compare myself to if it's a bigger author. I don't want to be like, oh, well, my work is comparative to somebody who I think is super great. I don't think that I'm on that level to compare myself to somebody that I admire. So I don't have an answer for that one. I'm open to collaborating in the future if there was somebody that I had formed that bond with and that I thought we were cohesive enough to make it work. Stephen the Crepe Keeper. Sorry, Stephen. You know I love you. Stephen is co-host of the We Have Issues podcast. Check it out. He wants to know who wins, Goku or Superman. And he's added a note. Goku has decided that witches and horror are cool, and Superman thinks they are totally lame. Superman is totally lame. Obviously, Goku wins. Obviously. He's a Super Saiyan, and Superman... I don't want to offend anybody, so we'll just say Superman is not my cup of tea, and he thinks that witches and horror are lame. So, Goku wins, Steven. For sure, without a doubt. Number 2. Who is the most attractive celebrity to you? Definitely Matthew Craig Coupler. I always joke with my husband that I'm gonna marry him and move into his haunted treehouse, and then I'll keep my husband as a backup. It's just a joke, guys, just a joke. But yeah, I think he's adorable, and he's marvelously weird, and I love weird, so that's my answer. 3. What other literary villains do you think you could spin in a different light? Rumple was great. Okay, so if you don't know, I have a story coming out in the Grim and Dread anthology that is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Without giving too much away, I painted Rumpelstiltskin in a different light. So, other literary villains. Let me think. That's a hard question, Stephen. and I'm blanking. Let me come back to that question. I'm going to think about that and come back. Okay, Jack Hollowell wants to know, what's your favorite thing you've written? Recently, it's my Rumpelstiltskin story. I really love the way it came out, and it's kind of my first forte into Gothic literature besides poetry, and I really like the genre, and I like writing it, and I love how it turned out, so that was my favorite. Okay, Paige Turner wants to know, if you could be a stabby little raptor for one day, who are you taking out? Paige is trying to get me to incriminate myself. Can I just say I'm going to go after bad guys? Like, all the bad guys. So, look out if you've been bad, because the stabby little raptor's coming after you. 2, what's your favorite podcast? Obviously, it's We Have Issues. Duh. But, don't make it weird. You're very close in line. 3, will you do another month of reviews during December watching Christmas movies? I absolutely will, but not in the way you think. Because in December, if you don't know, I did 31 Nights of Horror movie reviews in October. And in December, I'm going to do 12 Days of Creepy Christmas, and I'm only going to watch Christmas-themed horror movies. So be on the lookout for that. Number 4, do you have a favorite poem you've written? I'm trying to think. I really like one that I've written called Midnight Masquerade. It's in my poetry collection, and it's based on Edgar Allan Poe's Masque of the Red Death. I think that one's my favorite. You can read it in my poetry collection, A Theater Strange. It's available on Amazon under J.S. Larimore. And she wants to know, why are you so darn cute? You're so crazy. The power's in the freckles is all I can say. It's all the freckles. I have nothing to do with it. So, back to Steven's question. What villain would I like to tackle? I'm trying to think of a fairy tale villain. That hasn't already been done. Maybe Ursula from The Little Mermaid. She's really cool, and I think you could do a lot with her, but she's also kind of power hungry. So it's kind of hard to flip her around, because she doesn't have much of a redemption arc. Whereas I felt like Rumple could be switched around and made to be more of a sympathetic character. Ursula's really cool, and that she is just this powerful kick butt chick, but I don't know if she has that redemption arc available, but she'd still be really cool to try to work into a different light. Or maybe a gender swap would be cool. I don't know. I think there's something there. Okay, I know that there are some other questions, so give me 1 second. Alright, just a few more. Paige Turner also wants to know if I know how much she loves me. And I do, and I love you back. When did you start drinking black coffee like some kind of badass? So I started dieting and cream and sugar is really bad for you. So I just stopped drinking it. And then once I got used to not having it, I never looked back, and that's what I got in here in black coffee. Once you stopped drinking sugar, you realize you don't really need it. Three, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why? I would be an owl. You can fly. You're nocturnal, so you sleep all day. You're up all night. If you haven't noticed, that's a thing with me. I'm a night owl. You're wise, apparently. Great eyesight during the night. And I just think they're really cool. And they're kind of creepy. Have you ever seen them run? Super creepy. Okay, 4. What would your superhero name be? I don't know. I never considered myself a superhero. Maybe more of a villain. Or like a Suicide Squad thing. Sometimes I'm bad, sometimes I'm good. I don't know. I don't have to come. And then she says, what would your villain name be? So, if I was a villain and a superhero at the same time, that means I can cheat on these questions and have the same name for both. It would be Jaximus. Just Jaximus, I guess. I don't know. I'm bad at this. Put me on the spot. Okay, not on the spot. You asked me this question yesterday. But yeah, Jaximus, the tiny, the sometimes wicked, I don't know. There you go. That's my answer, kind of. That's all the questions I have. Thank you guys so much for all your super great questions. I had so much fun answering them. I hope you have fun watching this, and it's not too long or boring, and I don't look ridiculous. I might do another one at some point. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Thanks again, and I love you all. Keep following. Keep interacting. I love you guys.